It's happening. The Washington Redskins are coming back. Discussions about bringing the team's imagery back is in full effect, and this time, it's serious. Today, we're diving into the latest developments, fan reactions, and what this could mean for the future of sports, media, and the entirety of woke culture. Quick disclaimer here, I've been a diehard Washington football fan my entire life, so you know where I stand. To quickly recap the situation, back in 2020, the Washington Redskins retired their name and Indian Chief logo amid pressure from the George Floyd situation. Essentially, the death of George Floyd was an excuse for the media to use cancel culture against the Redskins and drop the name the franchise was known by for nearly 9 decades. And it wasn't just the Redskins who were canceled. Aunt Jemima was removed from syrup bottles, Uncle Ben's rights was killed off, Mia from Land O'Lakes disappeared, the list goes on. So instead of having representation of Native Americans or the Black community or whomever, they silence and wipe them out so there is no representation at all.
I silenced it by killing it.
Which in a way is even more racist because by removing the logos, you're erasing the history and basically saying that they don't even exist. Let's take a quick look at a senator talking about the censorship of the Redskins in front of Congress.
The NFL deliberately censored the logo. They photoshopped graphics to cover up the logo on the team's helmet. As you can see here, it's a picture of one of the great legends of Washington, D.C. And in the case of a shirt, the logo is completely removed from the helmet as if it were some sort of obscene image. Now, this blatant censorship is outrageous. It's offensive, not to mention hypocritical. The censorship of honorable Native imagery certainly does not promote diversity, equity, or inclusion.
Although the Washington Redskins have rebranded themselves, ironically, the new name, Washington Commanders, could also be considered offensive. The new name, Commanders, indicates a superior ruling class full of high-ranking elitists who command their will upon the working class Americans. Unsurprisingly, this rebrand has become a bit of a failure and is starting to backfire. For starters, the Commanders are among the worst in the NFL for team merchandise sales, which is interesting because typically a rebrand is supposed to boost sales and give momentum. But clearly fans in Washington are not taking too kindly to the new name, logo, and jerseys. In light of this, recently the Washington Commanders ownership group have agreed to uncancel the Redskins logo in history. This predicament comes amongst a new bill that was passed by the Senate to build a new stadium in the original spot where the Redskins used to play and was their home when they won 3 Super Bowls.
He's won 3 Super Bowls.
I think it's super refreshing that it seems like we are moving away from the woke cancel culture that has truly plagued our society. The return of the Washington Redskins isn't just about football, it's a cultural movement. Fans like myself have been vocal for years, arguing that the name change felt forced and disconnected from the team's legendary history. But now with the potential return on the horizon, it's clear that millions of people are ready to reclaim that legacy.
The king has returned to the top of the throne.
As I stated earlier, this story is bigger than just sports. In fact, it has garnered so much attention that news outlets across the world are all covering it, including this one from Australia.
Commanders, what a terrible name, might be bringing back their Redskins moniker after changing their name and logo. The survey showed that American Indians, Native Americans, did not care or were not offended by this Redskins moniker. It was the usual suspects, the affluent, white, left-leaning types who were offended on their behalf.
So easily offended, too much time on their hands, and then they just glom on to this cancel culture mob that had taken over.
Now that cancel culture is on the decline, let's talk about what's going to happen with the Washington football team and what the future looks like. So far, the team has agreed to use the old logo. They will use it on alumni shirts celebrating the people who played for the team before the name was changed in 2020. This seems to be part of a broader effort to ease the logo back into circulation and reintroduce it. According to Senator Daines, the team has agreed to never censor or degrade the logo again. That includes using it in historical images, videos, merchandise, throwback jerseys, etc. Here's my prediction of what's going to happen. When they start selling Redskins merch again, it's going to sell out and make 10 times more money than the Commanders merch ever did. This will be the turning point because once significant profits from Redskins merchandise start rolling in and racking up, conversations about the rebrand will get a lot more serious. Simply put, money talks. I think the logo is an acceptable compromise. It was really the name that was controversial in the first place. The logo was inspired by Chief John Two Guns Whitecap, who is a leader and culture ambassador of Native Americans. When they removed the logo, family members of Chief Whitecap were heartbroken that their cultural representation was terminated.
The overwhelming majority of fans in Indian country and beyond believe that Washington's former logo is honorable and it's a point of pride. Look no further than the Blackfeet Nation's chairman of the tribal council writing this letter supporting the logo. It was therefore wrong and simply unnecessary for the NFL to discard the logo and abandon its nearly 90-year connection to Indian country.
The inconsistency of censorship is also a major problem. Why the hell did they cancel the Redskins logo when yet the Chicago Blackhawks are allowed, the Florida State Seminoles are allowed? I mean, it is utterly ridiculous the double standards that are presented here. Additionally, the new name Commanders is so lame. The Washington Commies, the Communists, sounds like a fitting name for oppressors. One poll shows that 58% of fans dislike or hate the name, and only 16% of fans want to keep it. You know it's bad when over half your fan base dislikes or hates the brand. I mean, the rebrand is embarrassing. The name, the logo, the jerseys, it's all trash. First of all, the name Commanders or Commies or Communists, whatever you want to call it, is stupid. And the logo is so boring. It's just the letter W. It's so generic and soulless that AI might as well come up with it. And not only did they change the name and logo, but why'd you have to change the jerseys, man? Like, come on, at least keep the traditional colors on the uniforms.
You are very ugly.
We gotta find a middle ground here. Bring back the logo and come up with a new name that stays true to both the history of the team and the history of Native Americans. Something like Washington Warriors or Washington Red Tails or Washington Trailblazers or Washington Red Hawks. All of those names honor the bravery, resilience, and warrior spirit that the team lost when they rebranded. Instead of silencing and erasing, let's have a conversation and find an acceptable compromise.
We were calling out leaders on a case of really woke gone wrong. The irony that they were canceling Native American culture as the DEI movement went way too far. Look, this is honoring a Blackfeet chief who was born in Montana. He's highly esteemed. The Blackfeet tribe of Montana, their current chairman and the tribal council signed a letter in strong support to bring the logo back. It honors Indian country.
Everyone is entitled to their own opinions and beliefs, and that is why for the rest of my life, I will be proud to have fought for what I believe in, which is bringing back the team imagery into circulation. As far as I know, I am the first documented person to speak out against the name change on a large scale, which garnished millions of views and widespread attention. Rewinding to that moment, about 6 months ago, I protested to bring the Redskins back on live national television, to the point where I started trending on Twitter because I was that one guy on ESPN with the Redskins sign at the front of the crowd. I got a lot of screen time throughout that broadcast, and I was able to be a voice for all the Redskins fans across the globe.
I mean, how'd that guy get that sign up there? How'd that sign get up there?
After I went viral, the following day, Dick's Sporting Goods began selling the exact identical Redskins jersey I wore on TV, which is funny because they were trying to capitalize on all the buzz I had created. Then later that week, Todd Bowles was using the Redskins moniker in a press conference.
The Redskins.
Of course, this was all months ago, but I am proud to be one of the first major dominoes to fall and spark the conversation. Okay, so after I recorded this video, a new development has just occurred. Pat McAfee announced he was having another live show, which I just got back from and wanted to tell you about it. I ended up making this new sign right here, and it was time for me to protest the rebrand once again in front of millions of people on live national television. I made sure to get there super early so I could be directly at the front, and I succeeded.
And the thing about Gino, I think, is much like this West Virginia team, you know, coming out of college, he signs with, well, we don't have to say that.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
No,
Don't have
good.
to talk about that. You're okay?
Yeah.
But I don't think he's going to want to. I think he's going to want to let these people know how thankful and grateful he is to be back. And I think, making it right is going to be the big storyline.
I held up the sign many times throughout the broadcast to the point where Pat literally shouted me out.
Washington Commanders, are they going to change their name? You know, West Virginia's going back to Rich Rod. Is Washington about to go back to...
There's a fellow in the front row that really was pushing hard today.
Yeah, he had the raccoon skin hat. His name was Fish. He's a big fan of the program. He's a big fan of the program. By the way,
to say the least, I am very happy. Now that the conversation about the Washington Redskins is more alive than ever, it appears that my efforts, as well as the entire fan base, is working. It gives me hope that the team will make decisions that respect both its legacy and the cultural heritage it represents. This isn't just about sports. It's about preserving history while finding common ground. With that being said, watch this video next to learn why the Redskins should not even be considered racist. I also highlight several prominent Native American groups who are pleading that the team goes back to being called the Redskins. My name is Fish and I stay low-key. Hail to the Redskins!
Hail to the Redskins! Hail, victory!